It's 6 o'clock and I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blades. He's here. He's struggling with his microphone. Mr. Rajaratnam.
Present.
Mr. Heyman.
Present.
Mr. Gorman. We have 4 present, and Mayor Bruin is attending a LAFCO meeting, so he will not be attending tonight, just 4 of you.
Thanks. Approval of agenda. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Oh, nope, we should be voting
No, we
on the
should-
screen. There you go. And Riley, I'm assuming, okay, 4 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Can you please raise for the pledge of allegiance? Captain Tucker, can you lead us with the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer if you would. Lord, thank you for giving us this day. Lord, thank you for this beautiful place which you have given to us. Lord, as we have observed the National Prayer Day earlier this month, Lord, I ask you to pour out your blessings on our country. Lord, give the leaders of our nation the wisdom and discernment to lead this country during tough times. Lord, I pray for the law enforcement officers, the first responders, and the hospital workers. Lord, bless each one of them. Lord, I pray for our police department, Lord, as they put their lives online for protecting this community and all of us living in this community, and to make this a safer place for us to live. Lord, bless them and bless their families. Pray for the city council. Lord, give us your direction so that whatever decisions we make would be useful to this community. Lord, bless each one of us here. In Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Now we have some presentations. I request the council to join me at the podium for the presentations, please. The first presentation is for Emergency Medical Services Week. I request Vice Mayor Blades to make this presentation.
Thank you, Solomon. And it is my honor and privilege to present this proclamation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each one of these off, and then as I get down to the respective groups, if you would please come up to the front, that'd be great. A proclamation of the City of Ridgecrest, California, honoring Emergency Medical Services Week, May 19th, 25th, 2024. Whereas emergency medical services are a valid public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, and others. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designated Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, the Ridgecrest City Council, in recognition of this event, does hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to 25th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week. The 50th anniversary of EMS Week theme is EMS Week, honoring our past, forging our future. We encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities, and extend a heartfelt thank you to the Ridgecrest Regional Hospital staff and all the first responders in this community, to the Kern County Fire Department, to the Liberty Ambulance, and to the Ridgecrest Police Department. And I will, now that everybody's up here, I would like to also, on behalf of Philip Peters, present a certificate of recognition to Liberty Ambulance. Is anybody here from Liberty Ambulance? Okay, for the 50th anniversary, in recognition of your achievements and for exemplary public service and civic contributions to the community of Ridgecrest and the county of Kern, dated May 15th, 2024, signed by Supervisor Peters. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I only got a few of these up here, so here we go. Sir, thank you. Okay. Police. I would like everybody, if you would, filter up front. Can I have a representative from the police department, please? And Liberty? Do you want to take the? Okay, yeah, if you would, thank you so much. Well, no, I want everybody up here, but I want somebody to take the proclamation. Cool, sir. Appreciate you. Yep. Mm-hmm. What's going on, man? All right, all right. Good to see you, man. Staying cool?
We have to squeeze in, guys. Stand in front of them. Go to the other side, too. That's your call or their call? I don't know. You guys can go. We're gonna do fire, and then PD. We just wanted you to walk up there, walk back, and walk over. Okay. We're gonna add the council.
We can get in behind them.
Yep, you can do that. Here, Skip, you guys got this? Just set them up here. Here, go put your proclamation in. No, just need to go. You sure wanna be in the middle?
Make sure we can see your faces back here, gentlemen. I'm gonna have you guys, again, just a little, you guys like each other a little bit more. There we go. All right.
You're all getting pictured way back there. Sorry, sorry.
Abe Lincoln, you need to, there we go. I just caught you out of the corner of my eye, I didn't really see your face. Because you were hiding. Okay, here we go. Smile, big guy, you know what, you're in a dark hole. I'm gonna, oh, I mean, there's all kinds of light. You are in a dark hole. His nickname's Casper. Casper, are you a
Okay, people are watching online.
Here we go.
Let's do this.
Smile, everybody. Okay, one more time. Okay, that was two.
Yay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Thanks. Next proclamation is for Police Week, presented by Council Member Scott Hayman.
Thank you, Solomon. So it's my honor tonight to present a proclamation of the City of Ridgecrest, California, honoring, again, National Police Week. So whereas the members of the Ridgecrest Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the City of Ridgecrest, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duty to serve the people of the community by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And whereas the men and women of the Ridgecrest Police Department unceasingly provide a vital public service. Now therefore, the Ridgecrest City Council does hereby proclaim May 12th through the May 18th of 2024 as Police Week in the City of Ridgecrest's honor of the law enforcement officers, past and present, who have rendered a dedicated service to the community, and do further proclaim May 15th, 2024 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made their ultimate sacrifice in the service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of a duty. Proclaimed this 15th day of May 2024 by the mayor and fellow council members. So I just want to add that, it's an honor to have, and I'm really proud of the police department that Ridgecrest has. You guys do a fantastic job of protecting the community, but those of us that's been around or witnessed the amount of lives that you have saved, it's an honorable duty. So thank you to the men and women and the staff of the police department.
Captain Tucker, do you have any words?
A word? Thank you, sir.
I was just busting. Is there more people? Yeah. Okay. This is, yeah. Cool. You know what, why don't you do this? You don't have to come this way. You don't have to do this one with us. Why don't you guys do it alone? Yep.
Should I be meeting you ladies and have you come up front? Come on, ladies. No hiding, Mr. Ryan. Thank you. All right, here we go.
Thank you. Last but not least, proclamation for Public Works Week presented by Council Member Skip Gorman.
Thank you, Solomon. This is a proclamation of the City of Ridgecrest honoring National Public Works Week, May 19th through the 25th of this year. Whereas the Public Works Department provides services for our community and are a vital and integral part of each citizen's everyday life. Whereas the support of the community is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, sewers, streets, fleet maintenance, building maintenance, wastewater treatment, solid waste collection, and airport operations. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on those facilities and services. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works officials. And whereas the efficiency and effectiveness of the qualified and skilled staff contribute to the quality of life that residents and visitors alike enjoy and rely upon from the City of Ridgecrest. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mayor and City Council that we recognize and extend appreciation to our dedicated and skilled staff, and hereby proclaim the week of May 19th to 25 of this year as National Public Works Week. Those listening, wave at those guys in the colored vests who are outside working. And be it further proclaimed that the Mayor and City Council request that all citizens and civic organizations acquaint themselves and with the issues involved in providing public works services to our community, and to recognize their contributions which our public works employees make every day, rain or shine, to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Signed, everybody who sits up there. Who's available to come forward?
Travis Reed.
Travis and Chris.
Hot dog, someone's here. You know what comes with this, don't you? You got to stand here and smile and get your picture taken. You got any words you'd like to say?
I just want to say thank you for recognizing us. I got to do the transit already.
I do. I just want to say the reason why there's nobody here is because they're all out working still, because I'm kind of a slave driver. But no, we couldn't do it without the guys come in every day and gals, and they give it their all. Our wastewater treatment facility is one of the oldest in California. It was built in the 40s. So that's been a struggle. And as we all know, we've got some aging street infrastructure that we've been working on. So they give it their all. They're dedicated, and we've made some really good young hires, and we've had some senior staff that's really stepped up lately, and I appreciate every one of them to the moon and back. So thank you to all my staff.
Skip a picture.
We'll be behind you.
I don't need to be in the background.
Gentlemen in the back, we're gonna step forward a little bit. Step back on the other behind, there we go. Come in. Go.
Laura, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's the longest of the proclamations I have seen during my past 4 years. Okay, next item, public comments of items not on the agenda. Persons wishing to address the council on matters that are within the council's jurisdiction and do not already appear on the agenda may do so at this time. Council will not respond to any public comments but may provide direction to staff to collect information. Pursuant to Brown Act, the City Council may not act on an item that does not appear on this agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. The public comment section of the agenda is limited to a total of 1 hour. Each speaker is asked to provide his or her name, Now I open it up to the public comment. Any public comment on the floor? Seeing none, any public comment on the phones?
If, how far is the lag?
It's quite a ways, we're still down at them walking down, you guys haven't even got up yet. Riley, could you also please share the phone number? Got a call coming in.
Sounds like the phone's ringing. Caller,
Caller, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Hello. So I was invited. Are you able to hear me good? Hello. So I was invited. Let me cut off my background. I'm here at the live, by the way. My name is Janicia McClinton. I am a resident here at Kern County in Ridgecrest. I've been here for about 1 year and 5 months. I first want to say I appreciate the police. They have been a wonderful help to me with my situations that I've been dealing with. I had emailed over the situation to the mayor's office, and I was told to come to the council meeting, so here I am. And I was the one that did the email. I was the one that did the email about the gang violence that's within the apartment complex that I live in. And I appreciate the police officers because I've been able to safely maneuver and get to where I need to get to at this point. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your comments.
Thank you as well. So that's why I'm basically am here. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come in person, but maybe next meeting, whatever dates that may be. So if you ever take out the time and look at the email that I sent over to the council email address, you will be able to see it. Once again, my name is Janicia McClinton.
Yeah, we will direct the police department to take a look at that. So, any other comments,
Okay.
ma'am?
No, that's all that I wanted to. That's all that I wanted to say, or whatever. Is the police officers. I appreciate them. That's one thing I would say because they definitely help with my situation here. I have to be an advocate for a few of the tenants because I've seen like violence. I was getting a gang stalked at one point out here, and they definitely listened to any of the complaints that I ever had, and I definitely appreciate that as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Next item, council announcements direction. Councilman Blades,
Nothing from me.
Councilman Heyman,
None here.
Councilman Gorman.
I do hear the phone ringing again. The phone is ringing again.
Oh,
So you may have another caller, is what I'm saying.
Hello. This is Renee Westerlusk. And I just have a question regarding street repavement. Is there any plan to repave the Las Flores street going west from China Lake Boulevard to Norma?
Travis, do you have something on that?
So off the top of my head, we do not have any plans right now to do Las Flores. Las Flores is a major arterial for us, and it is one that was in the plan, but we felt Mahan with the safety concerns was one that we needed to do first. So that would be probably something on our radar sometime around 27.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Renee.
I have one comment. I will be recusing myself from discussion of item number 8.
Okay.
Consent calendar. All items listed on consent are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. I will now read the 6 consent items. Now, item 2, proposed action to approve draft minutes of the Ridgecrest City Council regular meeting dated May 1st, 2024. 3, a resolution to approve the financial year 24-25 rate adjustment request for solid waste services. 4, authorization for the city manager to execute the notice of completion for the Westward Avenue Street Rehabilitation Project Phase 2, federal project number STPL 5385, within parentheses 075, for the city clerk to file the NOC and city staff to release retention in the amount of $111,732.63 to Griffith Construction 30 days after recordation. 5, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ridgecrest authorizing an application for federal funding for fiscal year 2024 in the total amount of $169,289. The city manager to sign and file the application and execute and file all certifications of assurances, contracts of or agreements, and designate the transit services coordinator to both provide additional information in connection with the application for the Section 5311 projects and to submit and approve requests for reimbursement of funds from the department for the Section 5311 projects. 6, initializing staff to prepare an engineering report for the intent to levy and collection of assessment for consolidated Landscape and Lighting District 2012-1 for fiscal year 2024-2025, pursuant to the provisions of the Part 2 of Division 15 of the California Streets and Highways Code, and the announcement of a public hearing on June 5th, 2024 for the proposed assessment. 7, initializing staff to prepare an engineer's report for the intent to levy and collection of assessments for Drainage Benefit Assessment District 2016-1, the district within code for fiscal year 2024-2025, pursuant to the provisions of the Benefit Assessment Act of 1982, being Chapter 6.4 of the California Government Code, and the announcement of a public hearing on June 5, 2024 for the proposed assessments. Any member of the council wish to have an item pulled?
Yeah, I think that we should probably pull number 3, if for nothing more than the city manager, assistant city manager, to briefly explain what it is.
Item number 3.
Yes, sir.
Does any member of the public wish to have an item pulled? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve consent calendar except item number 3 of the consent calendar item?
A motion to approve with the one item removed.
I second.
Please vote. 4 ayes, motion carries.
Since I pulled it, if you don't mind, Mr. Reed, just a brief. I think it would be a disservice to the public if we just brushed across real quick.
Excuse me, absolutely. So, as you know, the city went through comprehensive negotiations with Waste Management back in 2022 with the acceptance of Senate Bill 1383. That brought in organics. Within that contract, we have built-in rate adjustments that were negotiated and capped at 6%. Anything that was deemed over the 6% would then become a carryover to which they could bill in subsequent years, provided it does not go over that cap. Last year, the rate approval was the 6%, And with the cost of inflation for fuel surcharges, labor increases, and all the other things that go into what is needed to provide waste services here, we had a carryover of 3.1%. And this year, the rate increasement was 2.6%. So with that increase of the 3.1 carryover, we have a 5.7% adjustment this year. I think the big thing that we need to keep in mind here is when you look at all of the trash services that we do provide and that we've contracted with Waste Management, they have cured, I would say, 99% of the issues that the public we have not had anywhere near the amount of concerned citizens calling about trash services, about missed collections, and things of that nature. And then furthermore, the big item that I think is to remember here is that this is mandated by the state, and if we do not get into compliance for our diversion rates for not only organics but recycling, we could be subject to $10,000 a day fines. And I think you can tell by what our diversion rates have been over the past 8 months that the way we are providing trash service and the way we've been working with Waste Management, it is working. People are source separating, and we have seen our diversion rates drastically increase.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. That's what I was looking for.
Any other comments from council members on that? Yeah, it's a contractual obligation for us, and we went through this when we approved it last year in detail. I think how the price raise increases, the rollover, and how it works. So this has been in detailed. It's not something new. That's what I'm trying to say. It has already been in the contract, and we are just complying with the contractual obligation.
Correct, sir.
Any comments from the public? Seeing none from the floor, any comments on the phone?
Yeah, looks good.
Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council. Any final comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve this agenda item?
A move to approve.
Do you have a second?
Second.
On this one, we'll have to do a roll call because it was pulled. So we'll, Mr. Blades,
Aye.
Mr. Rajaratnam,
Aye.
Mr. Heyman,
Aye.
Mr. Gorman.
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, I'll request Vice Mayor Kyle Blades to take over.
Yep, you bet.
For the record, you're recusing yourself because party to the transaction is an employer for whom you work.
Correct.
Thank you. And you do need to leave the room, please.
Oh, it is a big data package, isn't it, Rika?
Do you want mine?
It's page 9,630.
Yeah, at least, at least. Good lord. That's what I get for
We'll come
thinking
get you one.
thinking I'm high speed. I'm just going to do everything on.
No, you have to do one. Yes. Don't say that.
Nothing. I was just going to make sure I'm going to read it off. Yeah, you're good. Nope. Okay, we're on it. Mrs. Spurlock, come on up. So we're on to item number 8, offer of a private party to acquire successor agency land, approximately 1.46 acres within the Ridgecrest Business Park, APN 033-070-2A, and approval of resolution. Ms. Spurlock, take it away.
Good evening, Council. So the item I have for you tonight is a potential land sale. This piece of property is in what's known as the Ridgecrest Business Park. On the map there, you can see in the top right-hand side, there's a black outline that is the parcel in question. So the Ridgecrest Business Park is the former redevelopment agency property. So all of this property has been part of the long-range property management plan, which was approved in 2015. So that means all this property has been actively for sale since 2015. Next slide. So this is an aerial view of the property. It is 1.46 acres. It's off of Ward Avenue and McLean Street. This property is behind the Desert Valleys Federal Credit Union. Next slide. So because this is RDA land, the net proceeds from the sale of the land goes to the taxing agencies, and the other portion of the land sale goes to Chung Lake Properties because they are partial owners. We did conduct an independent appraisal of the property to determine the fair market value. The appraisal came back that the property was valued at $250,000. Desert Valleys Federal Credit Union has made an offer of that appraised value. Next slide. So staff is recommending the approval of the resolution for the purchase and sale agreement and authorizing the city manager to sign that agreement.
And if I may, Vice Mayor, on this one, we will need a unanimous vote since there's only 3 of you.
Understood. Okay, well, we'll bring it back to the council, and I'll start there with you. Scott?
I have no questions.
Yeah, seems pretty straightforward. Skip, do you have anything?
Would this acreage have been part of the casino, contiguous casino property of history?
Yes, that's correct.
So with this parcel going away, we get to wave goodbye at the memories of the casino back in that area.
That is correct, yes. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, when they granted the land or agreed to that land, it included the entirety of the land. So with this property, that agreement is no longer valid.
Hot dog. Thank you.
Okay. Barring any further staff comments, we'll go to the public. Is there any public comments for item number 8? It seems like I hear the phone ringing, but if there's anything on the floor, nothing. Okay, standing by for the caller on the phone. Caller, please state your name and proceed.
Yes, this is Renee Westerlusk. I just have a question. Is it all that land behind Desert Valleys, or is it just one of the parcels?
It's just one parcel. It's almost 1.5 acres. So it's just the parcel that's the vacant land right behind Desert Valleys that touches the McLean Street.
And I guess I'm kind of confused about like who's buying it, etc.
If you look in the staff report, you see the offer, and it's from the Desert Valleys Federal Credit Union. So their board of directors has made the offer to purchase the land. The assumption is that Desert Valleys will expand their current property.
So there's not a real estate agent or agency that's purchasing the land, basically. It's Desert Valleys Federal Credit Union, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Renee. I appreciate it. I'll stand by just a few more moments to make sure there's no lag online for public comment. While I'm waiting, anything else from staff? Heather? Travis? Okay, hearing no further public comment, then I will bring it back to the council. Anything else to discuss, gentlemen? No? Then I would like to call for a vote for approval. A motion.
I motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Do you want to do by,
We can vote by the slide. It's got that one. We have 3 ayes with 1 absent, and Mr. Rajaratnam stepped out. Motion does carry.
Thank you.
thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Can one of you please go get Solomon?
Sure, where is he?
Oh, I'm just talking to one of them, but not you guys. I don't know where he went, he just stepped out. Thank you, Captain.
Standing by for just a few moments while we get Solomon Rajaratnam back in the room. All right, the helm is all yours.
Thanks. Thanks for taking care of that.
You bet.
Okay. Item number 9, discussion regarding the Board of the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. Councilman Hayman.
Thank you. So the Groundwater Authority did meet today. We normally meet on the second Wednesday, but we were rescheduled to the Wednesday following. So we had two primary topics on the agenda today. I'll start with the first one, which was a report on board member referral regarding Little Lake. And so what that entailed was the Water District had been working on a plan at Little Lake for a source of 2,400 acre-feet of water. So that plan was brought to the attention of the GA. Myself and Chairman Peters made a trip to Little Lake, and we looked at the water that's coming out of the Little Lake area, and listened to a bit of the proposal that they had, and so it was brought back to the board, and Capital Corps did a report of findings and assessment in conjunction with our water resource manager, Stetson Engineering, and on the Little Lake supply and alternative pipeline coming from that route. So basically, the completion of the review of this alternative, Capital Corps and Stetson continue to maintain that the purchase of water rights from Little Lake Ranch is insufficient to meet the imported water requirements needed to meet current sustainability, let alone future demands. The construction of the alternative pipeline is infeasible and would increase overall annual O&M, which are the operation and maintenance costs of that pipeline, associated with imported water supplies, thereby increasing the overall water rates within the region. So basically, that water, it has a stream gauge on it, it's monitored, it's public data that's out in the public. And so that 2,400 acre feet, well, in the report, they break it down, but I'm going to go over some of the highlights of how they came to their conclusion. But basically, the 2,400 acre feet of water that comes out of Little Lake has been looked at already by the water resource manager. That's water that is considered part of the recharge, or 7650, that is the total amount of water that comes into the basin. So that's not considered new water, therefore taking that 2,400 acre feet of water that's already accounted for would lower the amount of water that we have put toward the recharge. So we'd actually be, if you think of those numbers, we need 3,000 to 5,000 acre feet. If we take 2,400, and that's based on the 7650, if we take 2,400 acre feet off of that, we now need to add that back up on top to the water that we need to purchase. So it ends up being more water. But regardless, it's not new water. Secondly, there were constraints with the conveyance of the water. So the county of Inyo, which is in charge of that basin, opposes the Indian Well Valley Groundwater Agency's interconnection to the LADWP aqueduct to convey imported water supplies to the valley. In addition, the county maintains a ban on the exportation of native water supplies. Purchasing groundwater, surface water, percolated water from the Little Lake Ranch likely violates that export ban. So basically, in negotiations, or not negotiations, but discussions with Inyo County, who the director for Inyo, John Vallejo, sits on the board, they've made it very clear that Inyo County is not willing to entertain any water being exported out of that valley. So that's a hurdle that we don't feel that we would be able to clear. Secondly, we have to deal with DWP, the Department of Water and Power. In past communication with DWP, I have a list of discussions between Capital Corps and LADWP that was done in 2019 to 21 indicated LADWP's desire for the Groundwater Authority to, one, seek approval from Inyo County, so we know where that's going. Two, establish a groundwater banking project, and three, provide a 3-to-1 leave behind as a condition of continuing discussions regarding interconnection. So what that means is DWP, if we were to access their pipeline, requires a 3-to-1 leave behind. So if you do the math on that, we need, we need more than 2,400 acre feet. So let me back up a little bit. The 2,400 acre feet would not be sufficient to meet the needs of this basin for a sustainable water future. Would it help? Yeah, it would help, but it would not solve the problem. But regardless, if you take the 2,400 acre feet, we would have to buy another 7,200 acre feet, equaling, a total, because we would have to buy that 2,400 acre feet. That's not free water. So we need 2,400. We would need to leave behind 7,200 acre feet. That's a total of 9,600 acre feet that we would have to purchase to get 2,400 acre feet, which Inyo's told us is in very direct terms that that's not an option that they would entertain. And secondly, DWP, the political hurdles that we would be required to get through DWP are not feasible. So that was the conclusion from Capital Corps. Yeah, so I mean, yes, it's 2,400 acre feet that comes out of the ground, but it's still a long distance up there. Getting the water down here is not feasible, and it's not enough water. There was another issue that is part of the reasoning is that Coastal Geothermal pumps water out of that region. And with that, the reason they have stream gauges up there, they monitor that water level at Little Lake. If there was any triggers that would be set off that would lower that water, then that would be an issue too for us taking 2,400 acre feet of water out that would impact other operating services in that region. So that was part of the conclusion too. So that was it on that item. The second item was I'll just read it to you. It is a public service announcement regarding the groundwater adjudication lawsuit filed by the Indian Wells Valley Water District and the litigation's impact on small domestic well owners in the valley. So this was put together by the GA, and I'm just going to read you the public announcement because I don't want to deter from any of the. Okay. So, issue of immediate concern. All well owners should be on notice that the failure to participate in the district's litigation will impact them negatively. All landowners that wish to drill a well in the future should be on notice that the failure to participate in the district's litigation will impact them negatively. In part because of the Water District's objections, there has been no class counsel appointed for small domestic well owners or landowners. Issue of immediate concern. 1, the Groundwater Authority is not and cannot provide small domestic well owners and/or landowners with legal advice. 2, the Water District is not and cannot provide small domestic well owners and/or landowners with legal advice. 3, class counsel will not be appointed unless a group of small domestic well owners and/or landowners take it upon themselves to seek the appointment of such counsel. Groundwater Sustainability Plan Overview. 1, no restrictions on Navy pumping. 2, small well owners are permitted to pump up to 2 acre feet of water per year for domestic purposes without charge. 3, the Water District Council was GA General Counsel during the GSP's development. 4, the Water District was the deciding vote in favor of the GSP. And 5, the GSP has been approved by the California Department of Water Resources. Next, we have the key to groundwater sustainability plan. 1, import water project and the replenishment fee. 2, not new news, Water District's reports. 3, water levels have been declining for 80 years. 4, more recently, water levels have been dropping by upwards of 2 feet per year. And 5, small domestic wells are especially susceptible to these level of declines. Next, we have the import water project funding. The replenishment fee chart was out for public comment several months before its adoption. Very late in the process, the Water District objected to the city receiving water for city parks, the county receiving water for landfill dust control, and the allotment of 2 acre-feet of water free of charge to small well owners. Next, we have the import water project funding. 1, of particular note and relevance for small domestic well owners, a Water District board member and former GA representative for the Water District publicly stated in a board meeting at that time, quote, "There is no reason for any well pumping without a fee. 2 acre-feet per year, our job is to worry about our ratepayers." 2, it is worth noting that other Water District board members were supportive of this statement. Next, we have the import water project funding. The Water District's objections were not supported by the other GA members because Water for City Parks and Landfill Dust Control supported the Navy mission and personnel. And the allotment of 2 acre-feet of water free of charge to small well owners was in part dictated by SGMA regulations. 2, after successfully threatening to sue the GA over the fee, the Water District filed its adjudication lawsuit against every pumper in the basin, including the Navy and small domestic well owners. The district's adjudication lawsuit. The Indian Wells Valley Water District has sued all pumpers and property owners in the basin. 2, the Water District's lawsuit seeks to determine what, if any, water rights everyone may have, including the Navy and small domestic pumpers. 3, the Water District's counsel recently told the court that the Water District will seek default judgments against anyone, including small domestic pumpers, if they fail to participate in the litigation. This brings us to the issue of immediate concern. Importantly, it should be understood that a default judgment can be compared to a forfeit victory in sports. In other words, if you fail to participate in the litigation, you will very likely lose all your water rights to others such as the Water District and/or its litigation partner, Mojave Pistachio. This is a issue of immediate concern. 1, importantly, if you are expecting the court to protect you from the outcome of this district, impose default judgment, you should not. 2, we understand that some who should have known better have made the very claim that the court will represent your interest in the lawsuit. They are simply wrong. And 3, as the Water District's own legal counsel publicly stated, the court will not be representing or advocating the position on behalf of any party. Next, we have, it's titled Confusion. 1, we understand this may be confusing given that 1, the Water District's recent public comments regarding the Navy small pumpers and class council. 2, the Water District's 2 adjudication workshops of December 21st and January of 2022. And 3, the recent public comment of a Water District board member which asserted that the district board was well aware that it may lose water rights in the adjudication it filed. In particular, we understand that the public comments of the Water District's attorney could have reasonably led someone to believe that small domestic pumpers would be excluded from the litigation and/or class counsel would be appointed to represent them. We also watched the Water District's Water District's attorney publicly state that in other adjudications, small pumpers pumping as much as 3 acre-feet per year were excluded from the litigation and/or were provided class counsel. Reality is, nonetheless, and to date, while the Water District board members have been claiming that they support the domestic small well owners, it is quite hard to find support for that claim in its actions. The Water District has strenuously opposed the GA's efforts to have class counsel appointed for small domestic well owners. The Water District has also opposed the GA's efforts to have small domestic well owners excluded from the litigation, even though that is common according to its attorney. And finally, questions for the Water District. What does the district expect to gain from its litigation and partnership with Mojave Pistachio? 2, what is the water district's plan for small domestic water owners? 3, if the water district supports small domestic water owners, why has the district opposed excluding them from the litigation? And lastly, if the water district supports small domestic water owners, why has the district opposed the appointment of class counsel for them? So that was the public service announcement. And lastly, I have some very good news that I'd like to report out. This is new news that came about after the meeting today. The GA has won the appeals court case that was before the Supreme Court, and so the Supreme Court has decided not to take that case, and so it is a win for the Groundwater Authority and for the community. So that's big news, very big news, and the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority Agency will continue on our quest to pursue a sustainability plan for this basin.
More specifically, as you recall, the trial court, the Court of Appeals overturned, they found that the fees had to be paid before the challenge could be made, so they sustained the demur. Supreme Court refused to review, so the Court of Appeals decision stands on that issue.
Correct. Thank you for putting that in more clear legal terms. I'm not an attorney. Thank you. And that's all I have. So,
Thank you, Councilman Hammond. Any questions, comments from other council members?
No questions specifically, more comments, and I promise, Martin, I'll skate across the top. And that is to say that I'll speak for myself. I would love nothing more than for the community to dodge an enormous bullet and find another solution as opposed to the solution that we have. I think we're making the best out of a bad situation, but it seems to be the path that is required at the time. I do look forward to any kind of future data or plans that might change that, but I think at this current moment we move forward with what we got. I also appreciate you going through and recounting the meeting, because there's not a lot of folks, I think, that watch all of those Groundwater Authority meetings, and there is a lot of good information discussed there. Now, I'll say this, that if I hadn't been involved as I am, constantly talking to you, legal counsel, paying attention to all the meetings that I can, I try to come in person when I can catch with the policy advisory committees. I don't think the TAC committee's met in a while, though, have they? So I try to catch as much as I can with the water, and even then, it's still a lot to keep up on unless you're involved in it consistently. So I appreciate the updates. I could always go on, as is my way, but I'll cut it short.
so I'd like to say that, as far as getting information, and it's been said, and I'll say it, that I think we could have done better job. I think we can do a better job. Money has been allotted out for public relations and to get messages out to the public better. Things are being posted on the GA website, so I urge everybody to go on the GA website. You can find good information and updates on the website. So.
Yeah, I saw there was public complaint that there's not enough message getting out to the public about everything that's going on. But I will say that I mean, there is at some point, there's only so much you can do to make people aware of what's going on.
Agreed, and that Groundwater Authority meeting is no different than our committee meetings or our city council meetings. When we look at the participation of the public, it is basically the same. We have some meetings where we have we'll have a handful or a pretty good crowd, but it's usually when there's a contentious, issue that's come up. But aside from the periodic, public attendance, it's slow.
Yep.
I have a comment. I was at the meeting earlier today, and I urge anybody listening to this meeting, satisfy yourself to get a good glimpse of who the parties are in this debate regarding a water pipeline, and some of the personalities, a bit of the history. It was a good meeting in that it painted a luscious picture of all the activity and the parties who are making all the noise. And you can do this by finding this meeting of today's Groundwater Authority meeting on YouTube and settle back and watch it. You'll get a lot out of it. Tell your friends. It's a compensation for the fact that this issue, it's a big issue, isn't being covered in the local media. It needs to be. It should have been for years. It was a remarkable meeting. Give it a look. Pass the word. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So if there are no other comments, any public comment? Any comments on the phone?
Hello?
Carla, go ahead.
Yes, this is Renee Westerlusk. I want to say thank you to Scott Heyman because I watched the whole Groundwater Authority meeting today, and he really went to bat for our area, and he battled tons of misinformation statements being thrown out there, as well as Phil Hall, the county attorney. And I just want to say thank you, Scott. And then I do have one suggestion. I think that statement, the public service announcement, needs to be posted in a more prominent area on the GA website, because unless you knew it was going to be at this, that it's with this meeting's agenda of today, and it doesn't have public service announcement in the meeting documents listed, you don't know that there's even a public service announcement when you go to the website. And I think it should be like on the front page of the website for a few weeks so people know about it. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Good suggestion.
Thank you, Renee, and yes, I will, I'll bring that to the board's attention.
Let's move on to the next item. Item number 10, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ridgecrest adopting a position description for a part-time community development clerk into the classification plan. Mr. Reed.
Thank you, Council. Yes, so we currently are going through the process of going through all the building records, going through all of our as-built and all of our plans for wastewater, and we're getting rid of duplicates, and we're preparing for our scanning project. As I'm sure you guys are aware, you've seen the multitude of plans we have and the multitude of address files we have. I think it's physically prudent for the city to get rid of anything that we don't need to keep, so that way we don't pay to scan it. This position, we've had a temporary employee working for about 4 months or 5 months now, and we have found through SAS, when we found after doing a rate study that we can have a part-time position that not only will save the city money, but will also allow us to pay the pay the part-time employee at a higher rate. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody in the sense that we can pay a member of our community a little bit more, and we can save money for cost for the city. And with that, I'm open for any questions on the item.
Councilman Blades.
The people have made pretty clear their wishes and how this community has to be ran. We've made it clear up to the staff and on to you and City Manager Schran, so makes sense.
Councilman Gorman.
No comment. No.
Councilman Heyman.
Done.
Mr. Reed, so how many hours is this position?
This position is for 4 days a week, about 5 hours a day. So it's a 20-hour-a-week position.
Okay. And what rate we are going to pay for this position at this time?
with the adoption of this resolution, if you look at the salary schedule for part-time employees, the community development clerk will be advertised for the position, and then we will either start, depending on qualifications, at 1884 or 1978. And that's per hour.
Oh, thank you, sir. No other questions for me. Any comments from the public? Any comments on the phone?
Nothing further from me?
Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council for final comments. If none, if I have a motion, I'd appreciate that.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Do you have a second?
I'll second, thank you.
Please vote. Four ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 11. A resolution to accept Supreme Court's construction as a sole source bidder. Award a construction contract to Supreme Court's construction to construct the Leroy Jackson tennis court improvement. Allocate $650,324.00 from identified funds and authorize the city manager, Ron Strand, to execute the contract and amendment. Mr. Reed.
So, yes, Council, so this is, we're bringing back the tennis courts. As you guys are aware, when we awarded the Leroy Jackson project, we gave the finance director the full permissions to move all the remaining ARPA funds into that project, which basically took where we had proposed the tennis court reconstruction project to be brought forth to you guys from. We put this out to bid, and the city received no bids at that time. We then went per our purchasing policy, and we followed the manual to a T, and we found a contractor that we felt was reputable and could perform the work, gauge their interest, and then worked with their staff to negotiate a price and come to a term and a number that we felt was fair for the work and got us the product that we needed. In our quest to do this, we learned a lot. I learned a lot about tennis courts and pickleball courts, and we decided with the recent, I don't want to say insurgence, because that's not the right word, but the recent popularity, there you go, that's a good word, thank you. Popularity of pickleball. We felt it would be prudent to stripe 2 pickleball courts on each tennis court. So with this resurfacing project, we actually have 2 courts that are beyond repair. So we're going to do a full replacement of 2 courts, and then we are going to do spot repairs and a full resurfacing of all the courts. And with that, we will stripe 2 pickleball courts on each tennis court. So not only will we have 6 full tennis courts, but people that want to play pickleball, we will have 12 full pickleball courts. With that, actually, one other thing, we are using the proposed funding source for this is our TAB funds. There was a carryover, not a carryover, there's been a line item in our books for about $594,000, plus or minus about $15,000 worth of investment earnings for this quarter. We're asking you to give the finance director full authority to transfer all those funds into this project, and then we're asking for the remainder to come from unallocated general fund reserves. Project, I asked for a 10% contingency, however, this is more on the surface. This is not as subsurface as all the other projects that we have been doing. So I don't really see the need for a high contingency amount or the use of this contingency. This is all at the surface. It's all things we can see.
Yeah, usually your contingency is higher than that, isn't it?
No, my contingency usually is around 10%. I wanted to make sure we had enough cushion just in case we got into something when we were pulling a cord out, that we found areas that we needed some more spot repairs or something like that. I didn't want to impede and hold the project up because these coatings are very temperature sensitive. So it's already going to be, we're already kind of pushing the envelope for when we need to do these coatings. So I wanted to make sure I had some available funds to authorize other repairs that are necessary, so that way we could hit this window before it is 110 degrees and we have to push this project and put the contract on hold for 6 months or until it cools off. And one other item I would like to note is I do have a math error. The actions requested are correct, but the actual number that I specified in the title of the resolution is wrong. The total amount should be $650,244, not $342. Yep, just in the title.
But was Rika made aware of this? I mean, is it-
Sorry.
No, sorry, Rika, I just want to make sure that,
Okay. What was it again? I have it here.
So the correct amount, Rika, can be found in the actual actions that we are requesting. The $650,244, that's the full contract amount plus the inclusion of the 10% contingency. And then the title of the resolution and in the staff report, I wrote $24 and then wrote $342 with numbers, so it's just all over the map.
you have too many numbers swimming around your head, man.
It has
Understood.
to be changed in words also, I think, both words and number.
Correct, so it's, the title will need both words and numbers corrected.
Any questions from the council?
No questions from me. I had spent some time talking with Travis about this, so I understood what was coming before it got here. But I think that even had I not had that conversation, this is a continuation of our previous project. You're just making it right, and I appreciate the hard work.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Gorman,
No, I have nothing to offer.
Councilman Hayman.
None.
I don't have any questions, so do I have a motion to approve this item? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Any comments from the public? Any comments on the phone? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council for final comments. If not, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Four ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 12, a resolution of the City of Ridgecrest approving contract change orders number 1 through 14 and quantity adjustments through April 25th, 2024 in the amount of $750,000 for the Phase 2 sewer rehab project. Said adjustments are for contract additions unknown at the time of bidding and work necessary to facilitate a complete project. Thereafter, authorize the city manager to sign said change orders. Mr. Reed.
If I could just get a switch on these, I mean, like an old-fashioned.
Tick. Flip switch.
Come on, thing, really?
Everything is swiping now.
I've tried
Yeah,
every.
look
me-
at that.
Every
Martin
method.
had the magic time.
I've been easy, hard.
So, or Riley turned it on for me, one of the two. Anyways, in true Travis fashion, as you guys know, we picked the toughest and oldest areas in town to do the bulk of our work lately.
Sounds about right.
As we were constructing the Phase 2 sewer project, we ran into some items that I felt were concerning. And as you guys know, I came to you at the beginning and said, I want to fix everything in this right-of-way so that way we are not back in it for 50 years, at least. In doing that, we ran into rotted storm drains. We had collapsing soils, which we had a line items in our contract to do spot repairs on curb, gutter, sidewalk. But with the location of the pipeline, where the excavator had to sit to do this, and with the cave-ins, we felt it was prudent to repair and replace all the curb, gutter, and sidewalk along that right-of-way. So that way we prevented, one, future problems in the future where if we have an area where we didn't get compaction and things settled, that would put us back out in the right-of-way. And also we found that the storm drains that were installed back in the day that run across French Avenue were in disrepair. And I also think we found the reason why we had had such a hard time with the flooding issue on Balsam. We had multiple storm drain issues. One impeded the flow of the exit pipeline that was the major artery to get water out of there. And we felt it was prudent to repair this while we were already out there and already disturbing the businesses, residents, and all this, so we could truly be done in the right-of-way from Argus to Ridgecrest Boulevard. With that, like I said, I have in my resolution for $750,000. I had to make a couple assumptions as far as what the work behind sidewalk would be. My numbers were off, so I would actually like to request $1 million if I could, so we can facilitate the completion of this project and get the heck out of the China Lake Boulevard right away. So with
Thank
that,
you.
I'm open for any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Any questions from the council, Councilman Gorman?
When I moved out here as a JP, oh my God, back before 1973, I noticed coming out here just after a storm, the stores along Balsam were sandbagged because the water was so high. And it's possible that was Jimmy Hoffa's body clogging things up in that old storm drain. And I'm glad to see it's been found and their doors will be dry next storm. Good for you, Travis.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Hayman?
I have no questions. I'll just comment. I think when it comes to putting taxpayer dollars to work in the city, when it comes down to the meat and potato items, the police, sewer, roads, this is money well spent, and it doesn't surprise me that you found some older and worse conditions than, probably anticipated. So I just want to say good work, and I'm in favor of it.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Blades?
Yes, with the increase to $1 million as opposed to the proposed $750, is it still coming out of the wastewater enterprise fund?
Yes, sir. So this has no impact to the general fund. This is a wastewater project, subterranean storm drain, storm sewers. We feel are part of wastewater. Our wastewater cleans them, maintains them, rods them, things like that. So it is an impact coming out of the wastewater enterprise fund. So no impact to the general fund.
Understood, thank you. That's all I have, Solomon.
Mr. Reed, I have one question. The original contract amount is $6,294,235, and that has come out of wastewater enterprise fund?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions, so any questions from the public? Any questions on the phone? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council for final comments. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
No further questions from me. I make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second?
Please vote.
Just for the record, the motion includes the additional $250,000.
Correct, sir.
Thank you.
4 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you, Council.
Next item, item number 13, a resolution to amend a professional services agreement with Wildan Engineering, Inc. in the amount of $140,446 to include additional inspection and construction management time for the Phase 2 sewer system rehabilitation project and authorize the city manager to execute the amendment. Mr. Reed?
So this one is kind of corresponds to the last one. Anytime we add work, as you guys know, we're kind of skeleton staffed in the engineering department. So we utilize contract services for this. So anytime we add work to a project, it adds time to which we have the extension of our staff through a consultant. And when we change time, it obviously changes dollar amounts for the inspection services. So with all the work that we have added, it added almost 120 days to the contract. And those 120 days, some of it they've already basically done, I don't want to say pro bono, but they've done it with the knowledge, knowing that hopefully they would get paid for it.
In good faith.
In good faith, thank you. Thank you. I've been struggling for my words tonight.
You're all right, man. You're the numbers guy.
Yes. So this is for the extension of their services to provide full-time inspection and aid in construction management on the project for the duration, which I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to tell you that the majority of the work on China Lake Boulevard with regards to other little minor landscape improvements that we have to do to put things back, that we will be off that road in 2 weeks.
That's a shaky limb, brother. But I appreciate the confidence.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Any comments, questions from the council? Councilman Blades?
Nothing from me. I understand what you're doing here. I appreciate it.
Schoolman?
He had me at 2 weeks.
I do have one question, though. With regard to the previous item and this item, we are taking this money from wastewater enterprise fund. How does that affect the projects lined up that are to be done under wastewater enterprises?
So there, as we're looking at right now, so the wastewater projects that we have lined up, we had line items in the budget and in our calculations for what we were gonna have for a down payment in our project scopes for these. So, these additions, I talked at length with the city manager, we talked at length with the finance director, and although obviously having a bigger down payment is always better, it's, we felt that the public interest and the benefit of what we were doing was in the best interest of the public. We all know the events that happened on August 21st. So trying to alleviate some flooding down there, we felt was a good item to do. And as well as that sewer trunk line takes 65% of the city's waste to the plant. Without that line, or if we have a problem in that line, we're not talking about 10 homes or 10 businesses that we are going to affect. We are talking about thousands of homes and thousands of businesses that we will affect.
We have only 5,000 homes, I think.
Good point,
But,
Saul. Good
and that's,
point.
and that's kind of where the rubber meets the road. Or I would say the other one, but I'm gonna refrain.
Right, roger that. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mr. Reed. So, any comments from the public? Seeing none, any comments from, on phones? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council for a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Please vote. 4 ayes, the motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, next, let's move on to committee reports. RACVB next meeting, May 22nd. Infrastructure Committee, next meeting, May 23rd. Probably this would be cancelled, I think, right, or moved?
Or
Because
move,
of the budget?
you're correct, sir. So try, well, whenever he gets a moment, he's conferring. No, you're all right, I know. Those are important conversations over there. So we know coming up next Thursday, the budget hearing has been placed right on top of the infrastructure meeting that normally happens. Are we going to move or cancel?
I will leave that up to you. I know we've had quite a few concerned complaints on a couple of our streets that we're getting ready to do work on, that internal staff has been trying to minimize the amount of money we spend on it, but still make it, quote, passable. And I know that a couple of the committee members had wanted to talk to that, so I will take whatever recommendation you guys would like to do. If you guys would like to hold the meeting on a different date, that can be arranged, or we can push it. That's really the only item I have to talk about. But I feel like since it is a public concern and we've had multiple people call about a few things, it's kind of a big item that they might want to talk about, so.
You can decide later on, probably, if you want some
Yeah, we'll
time.
decide. That-
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll toss dates back and forth and times and worry about it later. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
City org, meeting cancelled. Economic Development Committee report from May 6th, Mr. Blades.
Yes, so of course, right before I walked out of the door of my house, I took all of my notes out of my binder, so I will have to go off memory. That is, we talked about our trip to ICSC, which is coming up this weekend. That's going to be myself, City Manager Strand, and Commissioner Bill Ferris. We did ask staff to go and talk with our consultant to make sure that we have meetings lined up for the various businesses that we need to talk to about economic development. I don't recall any other large items that we had anchored down on for discussion.
I think new projects, probably, we talked about Five Below and,
It seems to be the same back and forth with some of those folks, so I think I've said it before in council and in committee meetings that I just wait for permits to be pulled and signs to be put up.
To speak to that, if I could for a second, I have had an engineering firm reaching out to me about items for the old Arby's building. So
Interesting. That was actually one that we thought was sort of dormant, so.
they didn't make any mention as to what they're looking to do. They just said a client is interested in doing something there. So that's all I really have to report. That
Hey,
they're just
that's-
looking for information right now.
Yep, no, that's still good news. Thank you. Nothing further, Solomon.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Parks and Rec, Councilman Gorman.
We had a quiet and short little committee meeting, and our analyst, whose name I can't remember.
Parks and Rec,
Yeah,
Jennifer Ledbetter.
Jennifer, forgive me, offered us a short preview of where we are on the swimming pool plans. It's a preview because we'll get a larger picture. Am I right on that? A larger picture coming up soon, and I, of course, didn't write it down.
June 5th.
June the 5th.
Sorry, my microphone's not on. I didn't realize it. June 5th.
I hope we have a crowded room in here at that time. The people who did the design will be doing the building, maybe.
Good thing you're here, Rika.
Perhaps will be in the room and field your questions and have pretty pictures, hopefully. We also talked about shade cloths over bleachers in ball fields, but just a preview. It was a short meeting. I don't have notes on it either.
Thank you. Finance Committee, Councilman Hayman.
Thank you, sir. Finance did meet. It was a rather short meeting also. Our budget director, Cherie has been on heavy workload getting the budget workshop together. The budget workshop will be on May 23rd, so on Thursday. So we covered on the agenda the sales tax, Measure LV, and Measure P, and transient occupancy tax updates. Everything is looking good. Everything is on track and showing stable or above, revenues. ARPA update, all the ARPA funds have been allocated, and so that falls back onto the projects now that are being actively worked on and are soon to be worked on. And then that was it. So
Thank you. Other committees, boards, or commissions? Sir,
I have successfully passed all those on to Councilmember Gorman.
Councilmember Gorman, do you have anything to add on those?
Just this, I think that I'll be going to Long Beach for the League of California Cities get-together when it comes up in a couple of
September?
months.
September.
So you're welcome, you're invited to pencil me in and let them know I'm coming. And that's Long Beach. I've not been there since I was a little kid. There are other committees, and I think the first thing I did was miss my first new committee meeting, which was just recently.
Yeah,
Okay.
you haven't met, so there was an East Kern air pollution. I attended that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's nothing to report.
Hot dog.
I got you.
Yeah, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. City managers report, Mr. Reed.
I don't really have much. As you can tell, my stuff was pretty much loaded on the agenda tonight. But I will say this, IWV Youth Baseball playoffs are going on right now, as well as the girls softball. I don't know if they're in playoffs right now. Got to watch a couple of those. There's been some really good games, some good kids out there. So if you get a chance to go watch, it was fun. It was a good time to see them. So.
Yeah, I'm coaching lower division softball, and we just finished up with our team just finished off with our playoffs. I got to say, all these girls, they played their little hearts out, and it was a wonderful thing to see all of these kids. Because you look at it, just in the lower division, that's 4 teams. Each team has about 12 people. That's a lot of people out there having their lives both affected and affecting other people, and it's all in a positive way. good for the community. And, you know, and for the Parks and Rec Department, it was nice that they had good facilities to use. And, you know, there's construction going on in the background, which, you know, we hope at some point comes to an end. But it's good to see it happening. You know, there's progress in this community. So that wasn't a plug. It was just to say that as a coach, I'm out there running around with these kids, working with them. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
May I add something here? I would like to add, ask if we can discuss the canceling of the July 3rd meeting. Are you all amenable to that? I know Mayor Bruin is. Are you guys okay with that?
It's a great idea.
Great idea. Cancel? Skip's okay? Solomon?
Which meeting?
July 3rd.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Officially, July 3rd is canceled.
I just want you guys to know that I shouldn't have very many projects going then, so I won't have to call, emergency special like the last time we canceled one.
On the 4th?
Yeah.
There'll be a special meeting on July 4th.
I don't put it past Travis.
Where's some wood to knock on?
I don't put it past
I'm
Travis.
fine with that, so yeah, let's go ahead and cancel.
Yeah.
I have a question for Mr. Reed. Any update on new police chief?
Yes, I believe he successfully passed his backgrounds. He's been stomping around and delivering stuff. I think he picked out a place to live. So I don't know the exact date on when he's supposed to be here.
I do.
Oh, and look at that.
We're going to be swearing him in on July 3rd. We don't have a time yet, but that,
July
I'm
3rd?
just kidding.
I thought you were closed.
I'm sorry, it's June 3rd, but I had to say that. No, Monday, June 3rd, we're going to be swearing him in. We haven't got the official details yet as the time and everything, but it will be done here in council chambers on the 3rd.
Okay, thank you.
Captain Tucker might have a time, I don't know, but, okay. So, yeah, that's TBD, but definitely it'll be on the 3rd of June.
Thank you.
Roger that.
You'll all get an invite.
The next item, future agenda items. I don't have any. No.
I have just a comment. I just want to commend Travis on his wearing multiple hats, and I think he's done a great job.
Well, thank you, sir. Couldn't do it without my staff and without everybody around me. We've got a good team. You guys have put together a good team here.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
So that's your comment, not an agenda item, right?
I can't hear, so I just make
No,
up my own
hey,
schedule.
it seemed like it was about the right time. I know, I do the same thing. You don't.
Sorry if I got out of
No,
step.
no,
Nothing?
no, sir.
No comments?
No.
Mr. Gorman? Nothing. Okay, then we are done. We'll adjourn the meeting at 7:34. Thank you all.
Good job, Solomon, to you too tonight.
Yeah, well done.
You did a
Well
great
done.